look who's here. Good morning, world. Hello, Mongoose Magic Moments, friends and supporters from this rock going around the sun today. It's a beautiful 17th of February 2026. I hope you've had a wonderful day already, and I hope you had a great Valentine's weekend also. And of course, I'm bringing you the world famous mongoose species cynictispenicillata, and this is the real, the truth, the unedited, behind the scenes in science wildlife documentary. No AI lies, no deception. We tell it how it is. There are no predetermined scripting going on here. There is only reality, no post edits. And right now I'm delighted to tell you one of her ever-present aerial survey companions, the Karoo scrub robin, is here. For those who know about this, this is cooperative vigilance. It is cooperation between species, so it is interspecies communication, just as you can see from me with my world famous shoes that have been scent marked by the TSEBOKOLODI yellow mongoose group, which I have been protecting and studying since 2008 in the private reserve, the Meerkat Magic Valley Reserve of the Meerkat Magic Conservation Project, and the Ungulungu meerkats that I've been protecting since 2001. Please do note the truth. Right here, this mongoose, cynictispenicillata species again, is not attacking this bird. And the bird is looking at me and not alarming. And the mongoose is not alarming. And that is exactly why I have a passport into seeing things in nature you would never see as a casual observer. And that is because as a professional nature conservationist since 1993, I have spent decades studying animal psychology, animal cognitive behavior in particular, NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, which allows me to understand the different behaviors and communication types of specific animals that I work with and communicate with them effectively, creating audio codecs so that they understand that research biologists and film crews like the BBC, National Geographic, Discovery Channel, Keir Downer, Richard Goss, etc., can get close to the study animals I work with and other research biologists I have worked with study. So right now, less than a meter from me, it's a wild yellow mongoose. And just up ahead, and hello out there, world. Please do let me know where you are watching from on this fantastic day. Look at that, only a few clouds scudding by through the cobalt dome here above the Meerkat Magic Valley Reserve. And of course, the Meerkatmanchen research base, which you can visit. Yeah, and off in the distance, just to give you a lay of the area, is the world famous Stone Dojo Gym. You can Google Map search the Stone Dojo Gym. All around us for many, many kilometers is wilderness. And it is all part of the dominant female who is heavily pregnant's territory. That's right. She is heavily pregnant. For those who are just tuning in, this is a very beautiful occurrence because she has only had one surviving baby since she was born herself in November 2018, which is a very, very poor track record because it is a very tough life being a mongoose in the wilderness. Many people do not hear the stories because we often talk about the meerkats and we don't talk about the mongooses' trials and tribulations. And that is why, if you Google search for the TSEBOKOLODI yellow mongoose group, you will find they are indeed the most famous mongoose family in recorded history. And that is a fact. So I'm just going to move around slightly here to give you an idea of what it is like when we are only, and I include you when I say we are, I've taken thousands of people from around the world out on visits with me, but I prefer to do live streams such as this. Students from universities and schools who I've done many charity talks to, including in England, can actually log in either during the live streams or they can come and comment on the different videos. There are over 1,600 videos. So, having a look at her foraging, looking for food beneath the shade of the tree, even though I'm only this very short distance of a few meters from her, she becomes almost completely invisible in this environment. And right now we've only had 5 millimeters of rainfall in the last 8 months. There were big floods due. I did 2 live streams of the huge stormy cumulonimbus clouds blowing over, and that's all they did. They gave us empty promises and blew overhead and didn't deliver any life-giving water. So the reserve river is still currently dried up. However, every day is a day closer to the cooler weather, and this wind is bringing in some cirrus clouds, the ice clouds. I can see those wispy clouds way up ahead. And of course, as I like to tell you, this is the truth, the real unedited wildlife documentary, and of course it's the real weather forecast. I've got nothing to gain from telling you, oh look, it's going to rain, or whatever else. I just tell you exactly as it is. So right now in the reserve we are still experiencing a horrendous drought, but fortunately the UNESCO World Heritage Great Black Mountain Range floristic region to the north has had more rainfall than us, and it is a mountain catchment area, which means even if we do not get rainfall in the reserve, water moves down into the reserve courtesy of that beautiful mountain range where we've got 3 rivers joining together, forming a massive, many kilometer wildlife corridor, bringing life to the river. And yesterday, many of our co-owners going towards the mountains told me and others in the valley that the water is on the way, and we saw extremely parched riverbed systems. These are known as ancient or fossilized riverbed systems. Sometimes they will not flow in years, like in the Kalahari Desert, where I spent 7 years from 1993 working with Cambridge University Large Animal Research Group, LARG, L-A-R-G, in Britain, and the Mammal Research Institute in South Africa, MRI, with Professor Skinner in South Africa and Professor Tim Clutton-Brock. Most likely one of the most famous wildlife research biologists in history. I include Professor Tim Clutton-Brock and Professor Skinner there. Incredible scientists, and I had the great fortune of working with them as an employee for many years. The Kalahari Desert has the Nossob, the Ayob, and the Kuruman riverbeds is the point, and these are ancient systems like we have all around the reserve, where rivers do not flow sometimes for 80 years or longer, and they layer down calcrete. We have a comment. Thank you so much. Frank boy, hi. Hey, I appreciate you're the best, bro. You're the best. Thank you. I really do love having you all with me today. You know, you're all part of the Meerkat Magic Valley Reserve friends and family from around the world. And that's incredible. The technology brings us closer together. So, getting to the point. Here we have our beautiful film star, and she is currently searching for food. She is eating for not just herself, but I'm hoping 2 to 4, maybe even 6 babies. Meerkats have an average of 4 to 6 babies for a litter size. Yellow mongoose typically have 2 to 5 babies, strangely enough. But they have the same number of mammae. Nipples, everybody. Yes, we call them mammae, M-A-M-M-A-E, strangely enough, in the scientific world. Hey, thanks so much. I appreciate that. Well, it's great having you here. Frank boy, RBX. Yeah. Please let me know where you're watching from, friends. I always enjoy knowing where our viewers are from. We've had viewers from the Philippines. We've had viewers all the way from Australia, down under. And we've had viewers from Alaska. Yeah. And Sweden. Let me see. This was a long time ago. Maybe you're watching or will watch this. Henrik. Yes, the gardener from Sweden. I still remember your name in your comments. So thank you for that. So, ancient riverbeds are perfect places for digging animals such as this beautiful mongoose right here to go and make their wildlife hotels. They make many holes in the ground, and these are inherited holes. That's correct. They inherit their territories from one generation to the next. In fact, we think meerkat territories and their sleeping areas could even be thousands of years old passed down from mother to daughter. Many people who follow the meerkats and the work we've done over decades on them, again, this is a mongoose, not specifically a meerkat, and I don't call meerkats mongooses. Even the name mongooses is confusing, and it comes from India. Mungo, not mongoose, mongoose. It's mongooses and not mongai, just by the way. I'm in USA. Fantastic. Hey, some of our very best friends and supporters are in USA. In fact, that's where we've got one of our biggest merchandise shops. Check out the comments, my friends, if you'd like to wear some of our merchandise. And if you send me a photograph or video and you want to be included on our social media, I will put you up as a VIP supporter. Anyway, getting back to our beautiful film star, TSEBOKOLODI. You can name her next generations of the babies coming up. And I hope there's going to be more than one. That's why I say generations. But currently, she could give birth in the next few days, maybe a week and a half. The gestation is 10 and a half to 11 weeks. And I often mention things many times in the videos because you never know who's visiting for the very first time. It's fantastic having our friend from the USA here today, Frank, and I do appreciate it. That's wonderful. Of course, there's a big time gap. Here, we're just going on early in the day, and the temperature is starting to rocket up into 34 degrees centigrade, not Fahrenheit. Yeah. And the temperature here can go over 50 degrees centigrade. However, I still say this is more like a holiday resort compared to the scorching furnace of the Kalahari Desert to the northwest of South Africa. That place is incredible. There is even a town in the Kalahari Desert called, and I'll spell it so there's no confusion, Hotazl. Yes, Hot Azal. And it really is extremely hot. Can you imagine living in a town called Hotazl, Azel? All right, everybody, for those who follow my work, you will know I'd use audio codecs, neuro-linguistic programming. I've been doing this since '93. I have been doing it with chimpanzee in Kibale Rainforest, Uganda. The research study animals there. And of course, I have worked with banded mongoose, Mongoose Mongo, the most sociable mongooses on our planet. Yes, living in groups over 60 sometimes. So the yellow mongoose can be highly adaptable and social. I don't usually discuss this, so I'm going to mention it now because so many topics pop up. They will live in small family groups or even be solitary. And the group sizes can go over 20 or 30. There have been records of this because they are opportunistic species. And if there's an abundance of food, more of them will have smaller territories and stay together. Never give up YouTube. Yeah, there we go. YouTube is a great place for sharing information. And of course, right now, everybody is part of wildlife history. You may not have thought that when you woke up this morning, oh, I'm going to be part of wildlife history. Well, right now you are. Out of all the billions of people on the planet, we are the only ones watching wild yellow mongoose right now. And that's a fact. And not just any yellow mongoose, the most famous yellow mongoose ever in history. Yes. It's getting very hot. And she will be moving into the shade of the trees before too much longer. And the wildlife hotel's just up ahead. If you do come out and visit, my friends, this is not a tourism project. This is not open to the public. So you might wonder, how then am I saying you can come out and visit? Those who are on my channel, who know my work and can answer some test questions, because there's an exam to enter this area, will be permitted to come out and visit. I do not have the time in research to go and explain everything for hours and hours and hours to people who are visiting, and that is why I like to jump straight into what we're doing, because it is ongoing research. There's no holidays here. Every single day and night is a night or day for research. This is a wildlife research site. It's a film site, and it is for VIP sponsors and supporters, and that includes those on my channel, by the way. So thank you all, and thank you for the over 2 million views. We'll be hitting over 100,000 new views very soon, and again, that's all thanks to you. So you're already helping just by being here. Get that YouTube algorithm, to notice what we are doing in conservation through education. As I mentioned, I like to give people the reality, the truth. Recently, we did an hour and a half live stream. Note how I say we, because I always include our viewers as our research biologist assistants, because you can ask any questions you like as we go along, watching the animals here, and you become part of the stream. So that was the first live stream of a yellow mongoose that lasted for over an hour and a half. If you think about everything that's happening on the planet, and you just think about we made history very recently, and right now we're busy making history again. It's as simple as that. All right, back to what's happening here. Yes. In the distance, the Cape crow, Corvus capensis, which looks like a large black bird, because it is. I just laugh sometimes at the descriptions people give to the animals. Of course, you may wonder why I mention scientific names like Corvus, Corvus capensis, Capensis, because there's Corvus albicollis, the white-necked raven, and Corvus albus, white-fronted or white-breasted crow. Yeah, so this is the one that is completely black, and it is bigger than she is in length. They are part of the neighborhood watch, and that, which I'm making very softly, not imitating it, otherwise she will react, is part of the neighborhood watch. That means if it sees danger, in other words, Meliarax canoris, there's a mouthful, pale chanting goshawk, Pulmeitis bellicosus, you can Google map and Google search any of these names to find the locations of these species. But of course, I'm talking about the martial eagle, Aquila vero, the black eagle, Haliaitis vocifer. Yes, many people are surprised when I mention that one. The fish eagle. Yes, fish eagles are opportunists. They don't only eat fish, everybody. They will also try their luck at catching the incredibly vigilant meerkats and yellow mongoose. So she just ran to an escape tunnel right here that myself and Alessia Torchini from Italy, who has visited here before, one of our best sponsors from Associazione Suricati Italia, and President Asia Chile has also visited here. It's an international collaboration where we create additional wildlife habitat, specifically wildlife hotels such as this, which extend for many, many meters underground and are insulated and have sleeping chambers for the wildlife. Now, for those who have been following my work, this will not be a surprise to you. For those who are just joining, welcome to the stream. What is a wildlife hotel? If you have never heard of one, stick around and I'm going to enlighten you. Wildlife hotels are structures used by many different wild animals. Yes, but they're not sharing the same room or chamber, just like a hotel. So this is like the Ritz for wildlife. She's seen something in the distance. Ah, there it is, there it is, there it is. Right, it's going to be quite a stretch because it's so far away. Yes, there's an eagle right now. I was just talking about them. You might be able to see it. I'm on a small device here, but when you blow the screen up, yeah, flying very fast. Yep, it's definitely on an attack thermal. And that is why when it becomes overcast like this, it becomes extremely dangerous for meerkats. And that is why you will seldom see meerkats not guarding at some point. And that is why people say, oh, they've got a vigilance or network of sentinels. This is not entirely correct because that implies that it is a specific role or turn, which it is not. All right, before I get talking about meerkats, I have an internationally published meerkat conservation book, the first conservation book ever done on the species, I'd like to say, called Meerkats by the Meerkat Man. Yeah, 2016, I discuss it in great detail, so I'm not going to speak about them right now because I'll talk to you for hours on end otherwise. Let's get back to the yellow mongoose film star right here. She is also incredibly vigilant, and she'll stay near these wildlife hotels. Although meerkats and yellow mongoose are extremely gifted diggers, and they can dig up many hundreds, even thousands of holes a day, they do not sleep in those holes. We differentiate between digging, foraging, and sleeping areas. So, a wildlife hotel has been introduced into an area like an artificial coral reef in marine biology conservation, where structures are sunk into the ocean and then marine life can colonize them, creating new reefs. This is the first time that this has been done in the world, and myself and Associazione Suricati Italia are pioneering this. We are creating additional wildlife habitat where habitat has been destroyed historically in the past, where areas have been intensively farmed over, sleeping areas, hotels have been plowed over. Now, I was mentioning meerkats briefly before. Meerkats are not only matriarchal, where the females are the leaders, as is the case with elephants. They are matrilineal. It's question time, everybody. Now, you've got access to Google. If you're on a visit with me right here, you would not have that. But I'll just mention what it is. Matrilineal structures. All right, I'm just distracted. She's moving ahead to another wildlife hotel. Are passed down through successive generations from mother to daughter. My audio codecs allow her to see where I am at all times. She does not spend much time in the open. There you can see one of the wildlife hotels currently being used as I create these new structures. So, where areas have been plowed over, there is no time for an animal to go in, like she has just done now. This wildlife hotel extends to a chamber and another chamber, and all of these different tubes here will have additional wildlife hotel chambers buried as well. They had slight elevations to prevent water from going into the chambers. They are protected from the heat and the cold, just like burrow systems that they would make themselves. However, when a predator like a lanner falcon attacks, reaching speeds of nearly 400 kilometers an hour, the fastest aerial predator on the planet, yeah, imagine this, you'll have less than 5 seconds to escape if a predator like that was attacking you. If you're a meerkat or mongoose, you would have to know where the sleeping areas are, and you would have to move immediately. As I say, in nature, if you snooze, you will lose. There's no second chance, there's no reset button, it's not a game. Nature is incredibly tough on those that hesitate when they should be running. And it doesn't help if you're just running, if you're a mongoose or meerkat and cannot find an escape tunnel because it was plowed over. And many animals who have this happen, where these burrows are plowed over, of course do not survive. All right, she's currently inspecting her sleeping areas. I might end the stream soon because there is no way of knowing what her schedule is on a hot day like this. And she is pregnant, which adds another layer of the unknown. Please do try out my different audio codecs. If you were to visit, this is one of your exams. You will in fact be tested on this. And if you are unable to make these sounds, unfortunately, you will not be able to get near the animals. The film crews I've worked with, oh, she's out again. Oh, we are lucky indeed. Just briefly coming out, inspecting. She's posting on her social media. A shout out to our incredibly famous technocrats out there, Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg. I often mention them in streams. Who knows, maybe one day they'll even tune in or visit the area. And the point is, humans are way behind in technology compared to animals. Animals such as meerkats and mongooses have been posting smellogram SMSs. You heard it from me first. Yeah, sent short message system. They post smell. There's a smell bulletin right here. This is like a smell cafe. Yeah. All right, it's tricky to see her at this particular hotel. In fact, any of our viewers, you will not have noticed her here before. For those just tuning in, you may just see some rocks and a hole in the ground and a pipe. This is one of the wildlife hotels that is yet to be built. It will be extended here. And by the way, you, no matter where you are in the world, because I have international visitors, can come out and help build additional wildlife hotels, and you will be credited for that. Yes, it's hard work. The Stone Dojo Gym, outdoor gym, the most famous dojo in South Africa, and probably the only outdoor martial arts dojo of its kind on the planet. I love doing things that have not been done before. That's why when I walked with meerkats for the first time and set up ecotourism, it had never been done before. Yeah, now many people know about it, but back then it was unheard of. Oh, walking with meerkats? No ways, only film crews can do that. Yeah, only research biologists could do that. No, I changed that. Members from all around the world, the public, were able to visit and see them, and I do the same with the mongoose species that I work with. All right, it looks like she has this time decided to stay in. It's getting very hot, and again, when the wind is blowing like this, it does make everything more unpredictable. All right, yeah, I'll leave it there. It was only a brief stream today. I do appreciate everyone for coming along to visit. Of course, this is what wildlife research is like. My day usually starts at 3 o'clock in the morning. Yellow mongoose and meerkat can wake up just on sunrise, and if you are not there in time, they will leave and you will wait at a hole in the ground and not see anything except the hole in the ground. So, wildlife research is on a wildlife schedule. Please do turn on your notification icons on your sub. And next time I go live on a wildlife schedule, which can be at any time, you will be the first to know. I hope you have a fantastic day. Thank you for your likes, subscribes, and shares. I appreciate you all so much. Have a great, great week ahead too.